Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to April's interval training. I'm Rebecca Campbell, Senior Director at Peloton. Thank you for joining today's training, which is all around Fusion Data Intelligence. The format for today is roughly 20 minutes of an overview by my colleague Connor Murnane, followed by a few minutes of Q&A. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone will be muted during the training and chat will be disabled. Please put your questions in the Q&A and we will get to them after the training. If you have additional questions or we were not able to get to your question today, please feel free to reach out to us. Also, if you have ideas for future trainings you'd like to see, please let us know. Without further ado, let's get into FDI. Over to you, Connor.
Thanks, Rebecca. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Connor Murnane. I'm a part of our technical shared services practice here at Peloton Consulting Group. And I'm excited today to teach you and kind of introduce you all to Oracle's new tool, Fusion Data Intelligence, or FDI, as you'll hear it kind of throughout the training. So let's get into it. All right, brief overview of what we're going to cover today. Right, this training session is really designed to familiarize you all with FDI, provide a bit of an overview of its features, functionalities, and really help you understand when and why and when and how we can use the tool effectively in what situations. So we'll cover kind of the overall framework and architecture of FDI and Oracle reporting, provide an overview and the benefits, review some of the out-of-the-box content, and there's a lot of it, review the Peloton implementation approach, how we go about implementing this tool, and give a bit of an overview of an OAC demo, right? Because you will be getting multiple services with FDI. Okay. All right, so before we jump into the shiny new tool that is FDI, I wanted to kind of take a minute to kind of set the foundation of and review what Oracle is currently offering as their standard reporting that is today. So we know, as everyday end users of Fusion ERP, HCM, SCM, there's two main data sources when working with Fusion, and that is the Oracle transaction tables, where all of our data in the application is stored, as well as our general ledger balances cube, right? The S-based cube that comes native with Fusion ERP financials, right? So we have our two main data sources, and then we have about seven different reporting tools that we use to get data out of the system into Excel, pivot tables, reports, all of that, right? So when extracting data from the transaction tables, many of us today are going to be using the Oracle BI Publisher reports, right? Those are those custom BI reports with those custom queries where we have to gather data from multiple tables throughout the system, right? Having knowledge of those advanced SQL knowledge to build those pixel perfect reports, right? We have our OTBI, Oracle Transactional BI. We can build analysis and dashboards off of those pre-built subject areas, right? Great for that real-time data pulls, ad hoc data pulls used by business end users on an everyday basis. Then when we're looking to get data out of our GL balances cube, we have another set of tools that we're using on a daily and monthly basis. And that's FRS, Financial Reporting Studio. Great for some of those management style reports, trial balance, income statements. And then for some of those more ad hoc views, pulling data out of Excel, we like to use SmartView, right? To get a quick look where we can pivot the data as needed, right? So this is all standard within the Oracle tool. And then, we can use other reporting tools to extract data from the system and really come up with some of those custom integrations, custom reporting analytic solutions, right? To give a bit of a overview of some of the use cases, just kind of review again, right? We talked about, the financial balances, right, really used for financial reporting, analytical reporting, and what are our tools? FRS Studio and SmartView, right? When we're talking about our transactional data, that real-time delivered reports being used on a daily basis, right? We're using OTBI. And then when we're looking for right pixel perfect, right, highly specified formatted reports, invoice templates, the templates out to our customers, right? We're using BI Publisher, and we need that advanced SQL knowledge and the advanced knowledge of all of our underlying tables to build those reports, right? But here's kind of where FDI starts to play a picture, right? And kind of the use cases for Fusion Data Intelligence, right? When our data source has, right, multi-sources, whether it's your ERP and your operational data and your Salesforce data, whether we want to analyze more of historical data and analytical type tables on top of that, right? We're able to develop, right, KPIs, scorecarding, dashboards, monitoring tools, build advanced visualizations, advanced analytical reporting, because we know, we can do advanced pivot tables, charts, and graphs, but also gives us the opportunity to, dive deeper into machine learning, predictive analytics, and we're able to do that with kind of Fusion Data Intelligence, right? Now, FDI is not meant to, right, replace, I wouldn't say replace OTBI or BI Publisher, but it is more of an independent tool that will be used, right, to enhance your reporting capabilities and reporting abilities, right? Because, FDI can do a lot of things that OTBI, BI Publisher, FRS SmartView can do, and we'll definitely start to talk about that a little more. All right, so now that we kind of laid our groundwork there, let's dive a little bit more into, right, what is FDI and how it's used in some of, right, the best practice use cases. So FDI is the next generation of Fusion data reporting, right? I think of it as a bit of OTBI and BI Publisher on steroids, really. And what it is, it's a set of prepackaged analytics for your ERP, HCM, SCM, and CX cloud, right? And when all that data comes together, it creates a shared analytics data model that can be used across your entire organization and business, right? But with FDI, right, what comes with FDI, right? There are certain services that come with it, right? It's powered by Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse, ADW. That is where all the data from, right, your financial supply chain at HCM systems will be stored. Built on top of that is your Oracle Analytics platform, your OAC visualization tool, right? So you're not just investing really in the data integration, the pipelines, you're also getting brand new analytics tool and a foundation of a data warehouse, right? So why do customers, why do people love FDI? And I'd say right off the top, it comes with over 1,000 pre-built best practice KPIs and hundreds of pre-built dashboards and reports, right? Once your tool is configured, you have access to these pre-built dashboards and reports. For most of the time, can be used immediately, right? So no custom integrations, no custom building of reports, right? You have fast time to value, right, from configuration to reports. Speaking of fast time to value, everything is pre-built and managed by Oracle, right? The data integration from your systems to the warehouse, even to the reporting layer, is all managed by Oracle. Extensible to fit your business, right? Single shared data model across all of the different modules, as well as the ability to bring in third-party data, other sources that you might rely on to kind of conform to your analytics, to conform to your financials, right? All setting a great foundation for best practice data management and data infrastructure. And then some of the key benefits that I really like to hit on, one being performance, right? You have the power of ADW and OAC. So you don't run into some of the same problems you normally do right, in OTBI or BI Publisher, where it takes a long time to generate this data, generate reports. Kind of with the optimized data modeling in FDI, we're able to run, millions of lines of data and aggregate that up in a very fast, right? Advanced analytics, obviously, that is a future where everyone's going. With autonomous data warehouse and OAC, you have the ability for advanced analytics, machine learning, and then AI built on top of both of those services. And then user-friendly interface. What I really like about the tool is that it does not take a whole lot to really understand and learn how to build and create your own reports, right? Anyone from IT to management to an everyday business user can really understand and be self-sufficient when building some of these reports. Right, just to touch on some of the services that come with Fusion Data Intelligence, spoke on it a bit earlier, but you get the full capabilities of both the autonomous data warehouse and OAC, right? ADW, fully managed by Oracle, all auto patching, auto securing, auto scaling for when your business and data needs are growing. And it has some of that machine learning capabilities, right? And like I said, you're also investing in a brand new analytics state-of-the-art platform where you can do advanced data visualizations, but also kind of advanced data preparation, right? Bringing in your own Excel sheets, third-party data, to really blend into any of the out-of-the-box financial data that you may have, right? Pixel perfect reporting, augmented analytics, all part of the OAC package that will really set up kind of the foundation for future success here. And then, so let's kind of start to dive into some of the content that is available within FDI and how it all has started to shape up, right? So I took, for example, here an example of your ERP application and the modules within that. So within the ERP FDI application, you'll have a number of subject areas, number of metrics, number of workbooks for each module. For example, the general ledger will have multiple subject areas available out of the box, such as your balance sheet, your profitability, your detailed transactions, and then over 200 just pre-built metrics that come with that subject area. And then 21 out-of-the-box workbooks that are available for you to start using right after initialization. So this gives a good high level just of the ERP application. But what we want to show you quickly is the FDI Public Content Explorer. So what we will do is we will send actually this link out right after. But let's take a quick look and open it up here. Tab. But I want to give a quick overview of the FDI Fusion Analytics Content Explorer, because this gives a great look into what is available with FDI, right? So you'll see what I just opened up is actually an OAC, Oracle Analytics Cloud dashboard page, right? So what they've built is a bit of an overview that you can kind of tab over and tab across to start diving into what's available, right? We look down here, you have all Fusion Analytics subject areas, very similar to OTBI. So all the subjects that are available within each of the key applications. And as we go across here, we can start exploring the content, what's available. On some of the tabs here, you will have some on-screen filtering options, right? If we want to look at a specific Fusion module and actually see what makes up the general ledger module, we'll kind of start to filter the entire dashboard. You'll see the different subject areas, and then you'll also see the metrics that are available, right? High level, then you can dive into some of the key metrics, right? Very similar using the functionality here on screen. Ready to use workbooks. Like we said, over 100 Fusion Analytics workbooks. And a tab where I think is very important and is really powerful is this questions by persona. That helps to show and kind of understand the different use cases for the FDI out-of-the-box module subject areas, right? So we could come in here and filter by job role and start to think about what are the types of questions that accounts payable manager would need answered, right? It will tell you exactly the application you need, the module that exists in, the subject area, and then the question that, right, these subject areas can actually answer for you, right? So there is a great list here for each one of the applications from AP to procurement to AR, and then also, right, across all of the different applications, ERP, SCM, procurement, maintenance, sales orders, order management, right? Whatever process you're involved in, it can help answer some of those questions here for you. So it's a great, if you're wanting to be more familiar with the tool, it's a great place to start and dive into. Diving into the subject areas. And then the slide that I really like here is the timeline view, right? It shows the evolution of FDI, right? It's a cloud-based tool that is constantly evolving. Every month, every quarter, there are new updates, right? New metrics that are coming out, additional out-of-the-box workbooks, and then also new features, right? In terms of what else can the tool do, connecting the different data sources, built-in out-of-the-box machine learning, predictive analytics. Every month, there's a great new feature that comes out along with bug fixes that are all managed by Oracle. So we will come back to this screen here, but I just want to quickly take you back to our PowerPoint here. So let's dive into a specific area, and that's the general ledger subject area details, right? A lot of people have financials, ERP. So a quick breakdown of kind of the 5 subject areas. You have your GL balance sheet, right? Which at the end of the day could somewhat replace some of the FRS reporting that you see, right? It has that capability to dive into those top-level balance sheet metrics, right? If you're using budget, it has a view into the budget, your detailed transactions, and even a specific subject area around profitability, right? And then with all of these subject areas comes a metric calculations workbook where you can actually dive in and see exactly how they're calculating. Oracle's pre-calculated some of these metrics. But you'll see I have in right here what I really want to focus on is this account analysis subject area called the configurable account analysis, CAA. And this is a very powerful subject area that is fully configurable to your needs, right? And essentially what it is, it's a single analysis composite view of your GL activity and corresponding subledger transactions, right? You have the ability to analyze your GL balances, journals, right? With the ability to get the extended details of your subledger transaction attributes and accounting events, right? So being able to look at a single line, right? Your journal batches, your headers, and then all the way down to the transaction that makes up that journal and that general ledger transaction, right? I know a lot of customers, right, try to do this in OTBI or BI Publisher, but hit a lot of constraints, right? Large amounts of data, a lot of transactions appearing, and half the time, right, you're not even able to generate the report, right? With the great tools of FDI and the kind of optimized subject area, you're able to create that account analysis view in a dashboard, right? And it's highly customizable, like I was saying. So, right, all it takes is kind of walking through a wizard that can be updated and, right, essentially you would name your new subject area you're creating, select the journals that are, right, that you're actually using the modules in your system. If you're using payables, right, receipt accounting, receivables, right, selecting those journal sources, and then actually going in and hand selecting the attributes that you want to be included from the subledger details, right? Creating your own custom subject area and getting that view into the transaction level, right? And then dashboarding off top of that. We see a lot of customers use this for their GL reconciliation process, their monthly close reporting, variance analysis, and the very easy ability to drill through from your journal entries to your subledger transactions, right? So this is a great tool and a great feature that comes standard with FDI and very easy to set up and maintain. Now that you have a bit of understanding of kind of FDI, right? The whole goal of FDI is to get things up and running as fast as possible, right? So you can start preparing for analytics, right? We understand that ERP implementations can sometimes take years, months, years even. But the idea with our FDI accelerator approach is that we want the tool up and running within 6 weeks. And we follow kind of a 4-phase process while doing this, right? First week, installing the tool, provisioning the users, getting the data in there, and then right away starting those training sessions with the end users so they can start understanding what needs to be customized in terms of out-of-the-box reports, additional data, additional DFFs within the system to report off of, right? Making sure they can actually build reports and understand what they're building themselves, right? Helping the teams customize and develop any of those reports, and then having that set up in production in under 6 weeks with all kind of materials delivered to you, right? So very simple, very simplified timeline that we want to run. And really the key is we want to get you up and running within that 6 weeks, maybe even earlier. And then also kind of once we've kind of gone live with the application, making sure we're there to support, right, your administrators, your end users, and helping to identify any additional customizations or custom reporting, kind of this continuous improvement around here. Awesome. So a lot of great kind of key benefits to the accelerator program, right? Trying to get you into the tool as fast as possible. So you read that. I want to quickly bring up here we go. Fusion Analytics Content Explorer, right? I mentioned quickly that this is built on OAC, right? And OAC is the tool, one of the services that is purchased along with Oracle FDI. So we're going to just take a quick look at the OAC public URL here. Again, this is going to be kind of provided to you, and it can be anyone with a computer can go to it. But this is an example of Oracle Analytics application, right? You'll see kind of on your homepage here, you can set up watch lists for quick links to different reports. Also down here, right, you can set up kind of different sections based on the reports that you're looking for, right? You can have sections for financials, AR, right, AP. Here we have some fun ones. But then if we want to have and kind of search our catalog, we go up in the top left here, right? We search catalog, right? The My Folders, Shared Folders concept is going to be very familiar with you all, very similar to BI Publisher. How My Folders has where only you can see your reports, and then Shared Folders has what you can share to your entire organization. And there's some great featured samples in here that I wanted to review with you to kind of show you the art of the possible with OAC and some of the great visualizations that it can produce. So under featured samples, you can find and browse a lot of the great sample dashboards that we have out there. One I found really interesting was this data visualization catalog that shows you all of the different data visualization types that are available within OAC. All the way from very simple scatter plot, donuts, but to really cool, sunburst, Sankey charts, circular networks, right? So a lot of different visualization types to choose from when using OAC. And then here we have a revenue analysis dashboard that someone has created, right? So this dashboard was created. We can see we have tabs up here, and then different visualizations that we can hover over. Right, we have this tool tap methodology where you can hover over metrics to get a better insight and kind of a more clear picture on how to read things. And we can have essentially KPIs within tiles, right, with also some different visualization types on top of that. And it's great to just kind of understand, right, go through a lot of these dashboards and understand what's available to you. Right. And also the really cool way we can, filter right on the dashboard here. Awesome. So I think this OAC public UI is going to be a great place to come to learn, right, a little bit about, right, what is in FDI using the Content Explorer, but also just kind of understanding how OAC works and the really great visualizations it can provide. All right. Well, that's kind of our quick introduction to FDI. Thank you all for kind of tuning in. Hopefully some more sessions in the future, really diving into, right, how to create additional, dashboards, reports, using the FDI tool. So pass it back to Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you, Connor. That was fantastic presentation. We actually do have a few questions from the audience. First one, how often does the data refresh in FDI?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, right, we know that FDI is a tool that, right, sits outside of your right, ERP Fusion application, right? So the data has to go from the application to autonomous data warehouse. So right out of the box, it usually, for most of the data sets, it's refreshed once per day. But FDI does have new functionality that allows for refresh of the data up to 4 times a day. So not necessarily like quite live data, but we're getting very close to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying that. Next question, how do we know the data is accurate and loaded correctly?
Yes. There are data validation processes and automated that can be run right during the implementation process, right? Right, all of the integrations in the data flow is managed by Oracle. There's actually it has its own dashboard where we can actually monitor the daily integration, the hourly integrations to make sure all data is loaded. But there's also the data validation process that we can actually compare data in FDI to what's in your ERP system to ensure 100% accuracy.
Fantastic. And then one final question. What if we cannot find the data we need in the out-of-the-box subject areas?
Yes. So like I mentioned, FDI comes with the out-of-the-box subject areas, right? Has a lot of the same information as some of the OTBI subject areas. But what's great about FDI is it has a very advanced data augmentation tool that we can bring in essentially any data that's sitting in ERP. We can bring it into our warehouse, modify it, and bring it into our shared analytics data model to visualize. So we do not have the constraint of, right, we can only pick what's in our subject area. We have the ability to bring in, right, that third-party data, but also anything else that is available, such as DFFs, right, lookup tables, kind of obscure data that, right, might be specific to your customer needs.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Connor. And thank you everyone for making the time to be here today. Reach out with any additional questions and stay tuned for future trainings. Thank you. Have a great day.